Hi, welcome back to the Running Master. My name's Dan, and here right now I'm in the middle of what is actually the last run of this week's run streak. So I said I was going to mix it up a little bit this week, so let me tell you what I've been up to. So as I'd said on previous videos, I was getting a little bit bored with the same old distance and basically the same old routes, because that is where I could mostly fit the runs into my lifestyle of work and other outside pressures. But I found a little window of opportunity when I took my daughter to a football match, and while she was warming up ready for the game, I had a bit of time to get out for a run. So this is what I did. This is the first day of week 3, and so I think I mentioned in the last couple of videos that I'm starting to get a little bit bored with just doing 3 miles every single day, and whilst it's been a good thing to make sure that I can keep running and I'm not overdoing it, hopefully this week I'm going to try and mix things up a little bit. I've actually come down to a place where I've never run before, so I'm going to follow a route that I've pre-created, and yeah, hopefully it won't get lost. This is my reward for running down here today. I've done about 3 miles already. The watch just beeped a little way back, and it's absolutely stunning down here. My only worry is that I've got to go up those hills in the distance. But it's going to be about a 5-mile run, so we're just going to keep pushing through and keep the pace easy to see where we get to. So I made it up the hills, but they really took it out of me, and so I've stopped the watch, partly because of that, and also partly because the downhill bits, although a nice respite from the hills going up, were a little bit dangerous coming down, to be honest. Every time I put my foot down I was worried I was going to go over on my ankle, so that's not the most ideal. So anyway, so I've stopped. I've done 3.5 miles, so I'm quite happy with that. Apologies if it's a bit windy up here. That's what you get for being by the sea on top of the cliffs, but it is absolutely stunning up here. Really pleased I've come up here. Just going to go and take it easy for the last little bit back, walking when I need to, because obviously as I was walking I was contravening my rules of continuous running, so that's why I decided to stop. Anyway, on to the next one. So as you heard, I was intending to go a bit further than I actually managed, but these things happen during a run. So at least I managed to put a tick in the box for the distance, and also managed to mix up the run a bit by running somewhere completely different. The following 2 days were back to normal 3-mile runs, because that's when I could fit them in, but that's fine. They weren't particularly enjoyable from what I recall. I think I was a bit sore, a bit achy, joints were hurting. So yeah, it was as much as I could manage. But actually it gave me a little bit of recovery, because then on day 4 I decided to mix it up again and do something a bit faster. So I went to the local park. This is what I did. So this is day 4 of the 3rd week, and I've come to my local park today for today's part of the run streak. So in the first video you may remember I said this, and the last rule I set myself is that the run has to be continuous. So no interval training, no 6 sets of 800, that kind of thing. So I'm going to qualify what I said in the first video, which is that what I meant was I wasn't going to do 6 lots of 800 meters and then a stand around recovery, because that wouldn't be continuous running. But I am going to do continuous running today, so I'm going to do 6 lots of 800 meters. My local park has a nice path that runs around it, which is actually about half a mile, which is fantastic. There's also another smaller loop which I'm going to use as my recovery as well. So I'm going to be trying to go a little bit faster on the half-mile loops, and then a little slower on about a 1/4 mile recovery. So that's what I'm going to do today. So all told, it should add up to maybe getting on for 4 miles. It's not going to be quite that. But what I wanted to do, in the interests of trying to pick up the pace and make it a little bit more different and vary up what I'm actually doing in terms of the run streak, that's why I wanted to do 6 lots of 800 and try and pick up the pace a little bit today. So I'm going to try and go along at around about 7-minute miles. That's about just over 4 minutes a kilometre. So nothing too crazy, not sprinting round or anything stupid like that, just trying to pick up the pace a little bit from the sort of the slow steady runs that I've been doing recently. So I'm going to use the Garmin. I've set it up already, so I've set it up on an interval session so that I've got half-mile repeats. And then I've changed the recovery to open, and by doing that means that I can just press the lap button when I'm ready to go again, and then it will then record another half a mile. So I can stop the half mile once it tells me that it's done, and then I can then start myself going again when I feel like I want to with a lap press. So that's how I've set myself up. I've got 6 of those to do in order to get the 3 miles done, and then obviously I'll be adding a little bit on top for the recovery. So that's me. Let's get on with it. This is lap number 4. It's going okay, but I have gone a bit too quick and going faster than I should have. So we'll see how these next 3 end up. But yeah, it's biting a bit. Last one. Glad that's over. So I was pretty pleased with that effort. That went really well and really enjoyed doing it. I'm glad I managed to achieve it. Showed me that I can actually up the pace a little bit, which was really good. So far this week I'd done a bit of a different route, something I've never run before. I'd mixed up the pace a bit. Days 5 and 6 were again back to 3-mile runs again, and then today I've decided to finally mix it up one last time and put even more distance in. So today's run is a 10k. I'm actually now 4 miles into it, so I've been covering that whilst you've been watching, and it's going pretty well. I'll be quite pleased to get it all done, especially as it's just starting to rain a bit. So I'll put it up on Strava once I'm done, so you can see whether I did it. It should bring my weekly mileage to 29 miles or thereabouts, which I'm pretty pleased with. And then we'll move on to week 4. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Really appreciate your support, your comments, your likes, and all the feedback I get. So thanks very much, and see you for the next video. And remember, enjoy your run.